Okay, so thank you guys for joining. My name is Stephanie Capist. So I am not the instructor for this class. What I am is the coordinator. What that means is that I am providing extra resources in every section of MA105, and then I'm doing additional things like these live sessions weekly, and I'm available if you have questions, especially like, if you're trying to get a hold of your instructor. Most of your instructors are available mostly in the evenings. And so if you have a question like during the day, that's when I'm available, so you can contact me. Um, you can, let's see, you have my email because I emailed everybody on an announcement. So you can find me, you can reply to that, and that will come to me. So I'm not teaching the class, I'm just providing additional resources for you guys. So that's how this works, because I teach the class every even term. So I'm teaching currently the August term, so August and September. And so the odd terms, when I'm not teaching, we still want to have resources for you guys. And so that's what I do, is I'm providing the resources from what I've done in my own classes to you, so you have extra stuff. Because I am full-time, and so I have the extra time to do all these things. So you will have different instructors. Your instructor will be doing the grading. They'll be in charge of the grade book, all of that. I am just an additional resource. So just an extra resource in addition to everything else that you have available. So that's basically how this is working. So I'll be sending emails like once a week, basically, to remind you about these sessions. And that's about it, basically. As far as the communication you'll get from me, most of the stuff will be things that I'm going to add to the classroom. Now, if you did not know it, Blackboard has a phone app, and I do recommend you download it, because what's really neat about that is that it will send you notifications when new things are added to the classroom. So like I have it downloaded, and so when I add a video, I will then get a notification that says, oh, this video has been added to this class. So that's a good way to keep track of new things that are added, so that you know if there are new resources out there. It's also really neat because you can get your feedback from, like, when things are graded, it will tell you something's graded. So it's really nice to have that app. I don't recommend using it to submit any work, though, because it doesn't have the same features. Like for discussions, you can't use any math or anything in your discussions. You can't include pictures. So don't use it to submit work, but it's great for viewing feedback and getting notifications. So I'm going to get my PowerPoint started here. So just bear with me while I transition screens and start sharing my screen. Okay, so of course, welcome. Okay, so basically the plan that I have, and then this plan could go off the rails depending on what questions you ask. So you're welcome to ask questions anytime. Just as we go, I will monitor the chat to answer any questions. So this is very informal. So don't feel like, this is a very informal thing. I have this outlined, but I can stop and do stuff in Albert order and whatever. So, but the plan is I am going to talk about why we have college algebra, what, the purpose of this class, and then go through the textbook, some resources, and then talk about the things specific to week 1 that you need to know. And then I do plan on showing the classroom on where you can find these additional resources that I've put in there. So, why college algebra? Well, first, let's make sure everybody knows what this is. So, college algebra is typically the first math course one takes in college. Now, it's not always the first one people take, some people take like consumer math or other courses, but it's considered what's supposed to be the first college level math course. It's essentially like if you remember any algebra from high school, and some people didn't have to take algebra in high school, because that was, that's a more recent requirement. But in high school, there's like algebra 1 and algebra 2. College algebra is a combination of both of those, plus it's like algebra 1, algebra 2 on steroids. So if you remember your algebra from high school, you'll see that this is it goes deeper in depth. If you haven't done that in a while, then you're going to be trying to relearn everything. but it's basically extending the algebra that is now taught in high school. That's the basics. This is considered an introductory course to mathematics, which is why it's usually considered the first one people take when they go to college. And so it is meant for those that have to go on to take more math, essentially, where you have to take more college level courses. So usually you take college algebra, and then you take pre-calculus or trig, then calculus, and you could also branch off into statistics. And this is usually helpful for business degrees, engineering degrees, and computer science. These 3 degrees are the ones that require college algebra. So business students have to take college algebra because you have to go on to statistics, which relies on some of the algebra that we're doing. Usually the things that you need for business are, I think there's probably only 3 or 4 weeks of stuff that you really need for business, and we'll be making connections to that stuff throughout the course. If you're going to engineering and computer science, you pretty much need to know everything in the course. So we don't have 2 separate courses for this. So this is just the way that this is designed. This is standard across any university, where this is just the standard college algebra curriculum. And they even have the CLEP. I don't remember what that stands for, but it is basically to make sure that all college algebra classes teach the same thing. And so no matter where you go, this is what a college algebra course is. And it's just for those that need more math to kind of get you started and teach you what you need to know to progress. So for how this can apply to your life, because a lot of people say that they really need to know how this is going to be useful for them to actually focus on it and learn it. So for business, you can predict sales of a company. We're going to do that in one of the discussions. We talk about break-even points, where you recoup your costs, that sort of stuff. Banking, we're going to figure out how interest is calculated on a bank account, so that's something that can apply for everybody. For those who like sports, we will be looking at the math behind sports. We will have a discussion about the math behind baseball, and there are some videos that talk about the math behind football and things like that. Bills, one of our discussions will be talking about how the cell phone bill is calculated. If you're ever wondered, when you go to get a new cell phone, how do they come up with these numbers? We're actually going to do a discussion on that. Things that are science related: population growth, radiocarbon dating, pH. We're also going to talk about like earthquakes. Those are some things that are algebra. Criminal justice, you can use algebra to determine when somebody died, basically based off of the temperature of their body. A lot of coroners do that. That actually relies on an algebraic formula. Healthcare fields, you can use algebra to determine when you need to administer a drug. Basically the drug will wear off in your system. When do you need to give them more drugs? Computer science, use college algebra when you're writing functions, when you're doing anything with computer memory and you have to figure out how much space things take up. A lot of computer science actually uses math to teach how to program. I have a computer engineering degree in addition to a math degree, so I had to go through a lot of programming classes, and we were basically writing programs to compute math formulas, and that's how we learned how to program. So algebra applies to a lot more things than you may know, and you may not even realize you're using algebra. You might be doing this and not knowing that it's actually algebra. Now, algebra also teaches you skills that are not math related but are helpful for everybody. You'll learn how to critically think, or at least you'll improve your critical thinking skills. Paying attention to details. You can miss a negative and that throws your whole answer out. So algebra really teaches you have to pay attention to everything. Everything has a meaning. So paying attention to details. Organization. So to keep yourself organized, the way that the math is very linear, and there's a way to organize and work out the problems that helps you organize, helps your organization skills. Problem solving, logical thinking, because the basis of math is logic. So there's a lot of skills that are not math based but are helpful skills. And so I have a link here that when you download the PowerPoint, and I'll show you where that's stored later. But there's this article on why math. And actually, what I should have added, there's this great YouTube video. And I'll have to add that. But there's a YouTube video, if you search YouTube, called The History of Math. And that is really neat because it goes into, no, it's not called The History of Math. What is it? The Map of Mathematics. Sorry, it talks about the history of math, but it's actually called the Map of Mathematics. But it goes into the history, and then it goes to all the things that math is in today, and it talks about how it's used today. So that's a really fun video, very interesting, so you have an idea of where all this comes from and then how math is present today. So that's something I recommend looking for. It's very interesting, and the channel that does that does additional videos on the map of physics and other subjects as well. So that's something that is cool. So that's basically algebra. There will be stuff coming out of this class that you will find useful. So even if you don't need all the actual math pieces, the critical thinking, these other skills will be helpful as well. So on to the textbook, which is an ebook. So you have to make sure that you have added your ebook to your dashboard. It's a Cengage textbook. So there are directions here. If you have issues with this, you can reach out to your student advisor. They're really good at helping you out. But there's specific ISBN at it, and once you're logged in and you click on ebook, I think you should have access to it, and it should take you right there every time. I am not sure if this is available with our ebook because I don't see the student side, but I know that some Cengage ebooks have an option for renting a print version. So I don't know if our textbook has that. If it does and you want a print version, I would recommend doing that because it's like $10. Otherwise, you can print pages from the textbook. And your other option is looking for the textbook on Amazon. As long as you get the right edition, you can do that too if you prefer a physical copy of the textbook. Now, I'm not going to play this video, but there is a video here. What I'm going to do is actually walk you through navigating. I'm not going to play the video, but that's for your reference. But I'm actually going to pull up the classroom. Make sure I get to the right thing here. Okay. So this is what the classroom looks like. Sorry. Let me get that back up again. I have too many screens. Okay. So when you go into the classroom, there's this link to the left called ebook, and then you want to click on that to get to the ebook. Now, if I click on that here, because I'm not an actual student enrolled in this class, it's going to give me an error. So I'm going to have to just temporarily exit preview mode because that button won't disappear, so that I can actually click on it, and then I'll go back into student preview mode. So I get it, because I'm an instructor, it takes it a different way to get to there. So I'm going to just go back student preview mode there. So yours should pop it up. You shouldn't have to do all these extra clicks that I'm doing. Okay, so when you go into the textbook, it defaults to the table of contents here. And so week 1, we're basically going through the prerequisites. So I'm going to just click there. And it will default to wherever you last were in that section. So it doesn't default to the beginning of the section. So on the left is this chapter contents. That's how you can get to the beginning of the section. And then you can go to different parts of the section, and then you can even go to the exercises at the end of each section if you want extra practice. And then if you scroll all the way down, the practice problems are generally from the chapter tests or the review exercises, so this is where you would find them. So I will just go to the very beginning. Okay, So this is the start, and then you navigate with these arrows, and then you scroll down. There's these pictures. What's really nice is you can save these images, so if you're taking notes and you like a picture, you can save that. There are examples, and this usually isn't this small, but it's supposed to give you the answers when you expand it, so that way you can test yourself. So what I recommend doing is when you take notes, then do these checkpoint exercises, because then that's how you can get practice and make sure you understand what's going on. So I recommend doing all the checkpoint exercises because all the answers are there. And so you just scroll down, and then once you go through this section, you hit the arrow. One thing that is really important about algebra is understanding definitions. So I recommend that you keep track of that. So you can add flashcards for the definitions, and you can highlight, you can add notes. Read text actually reads it out loud. So if you add a flashcard, it gives the definition, and it doesn't like math very well, so you'd have to translate this because it doesn't actually read it. But then I would put the term rational number here. I wonder if I can do image. No. And then save. So then you have this flashcard, and then you can shuffle through it. You click on it, and then it gives you the definition. But it doesn't work well for math, as you can see. So you'd have to translate somehow the math into something that you can read here. But there are flashcards. And then to exit out of this, you hit the X on the top right here, and then you go back. So I recommend creating flashcards. That will help you. There is also a glossary. A lot of people don't understand, or they see terms and they don't know what they mean. Oh, no glossary terms. Well, that's fun. That's fun that it's not actually working. You can take notes with the highlighter. If you want to get out of the chapter contents, you can hit the X here, and that will take you back to the big table of contents. And then you can see appendices, and you can expand all of these if you want, and you want to skip to any of the sections, but that appears not to be working. It's a little finicky. There is a MindTap app for your phone, so you can also download this to your phone, and then you can use the textbook in offline mode. Once you download it to your phone and it's on your bookshelf, you can download the textbook, and then you'll have it if you're not on the internet. So that's basically the basics of using the textbook, and then if you want to print, that's where the print button is. I know a lot of people prefer to have physical textbooks, so sometimes you want to print a page. So going back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so that's basically this YouTube video will walk you through that same thing. Okay, so using the textbook, there's this thing called the Success Organizer. I recommend using that to take notes because it'll help organize your notes. And then after taking notes on a section, work through the practice problems for that section. So you usually have about 5 sections a week, and then practice problems. It is not effective to read all 5 sections at once. The way to learn math from a textbook is to read a section, work problems from that section. Read the next section, work problems from that section. So you really can't read everything at once. So I recommend reading the section and doing the practice problems, or if you want, read the section and do the checkpoints and then skip the practice problems unless you need more practice, basically. There are step-by-step solutions to all of the practice problems that are odds, and they will show you every step. And then there are also videos of some of them on CalcView. So these are all things that come with the textbook. So this textbook has a great website. So I recommend that you bookmark this and use it extensively. So this is what it looks like when you log on the textbook, and when you download the PowerPoint on your own, you can click on this link and it will take you to the textbook. So on the left here, there's the tab that says Solutions. Those are solution videos to the checkpoint exercises. So those checkpoint problems that I showed you in the textbook that I recommend you work out as you read, all of the solution videos are right there. So if you get some of those wrong, you can watch the solution video. Next to it are instructional videos. Those are extra videos. Those are also linked in our classroom. There are practice tests under the pre and post test link. The success organizer, which was what I said to take notes, that are note-taking PDFs. So you need to download those and open them with Adobe. If you open them with anything else, the math won't display right. But there are note-taking PDFs that help you read the textbook and know what's important. And then on the top right, we have Calc Chat, which shows step-by-step solutions to all the odd problems. And then Calc View, which has videos to solve the odd problems, not all of them. So there's a lot of resources that come with this textbook. This is one of the reasons why we use this textbook, is because there's so many resources for you so that you can get feedback, either by looking at the solutions to compare with your work, or to watch the solution videos to see how where you went wrong. So I recommend bookmarking it and then using that website as you go through the textbook and you're doing the checkpoint exercises. Now, some additional resources. And I know this is a lot of information, which is why you'll have access to the slides and it's all recorded and all that. There's going to be a lot of graphing. And so I recommend getting used to using an online graphing calculator. There's no reason you need to buy one, because online ones work just fine. My personal favorite is Desmos. And so there's a link here, and then there's a link to tutorials on how to use it. And then another one that I like is GeoGebra. That one's a little different. That one's good if you have to do anything involving geometry. So that one's a little better if you're in pre-calc. But for this class, Desmos will do everything you need it to do. So bookmarking those or having those handy for when you need to do graphing, definitely keep those in mind. You need to have a scientific calculator. So your cell phone, actually, most phones, when you go to the calculator, it gives you just basically multiplication, addition, division, subtraction. But if you rotate your phone, most phones, you get the scientific calculator portion. So your phone does have access to everything you need to know, but there are also online calculators as well. Desmos has one. Web 2.0 Calc is another online calculator. And then even Google, if you just search for calculator, one will pop up. So you don't need to buy a calculator. You can use one of these, and that will have all the things that you need to do. So use the one that you like, whichever, which one is more intuitive to you. Okay, now I know that these are really tiny, but these are meant for you to click on later. So tutorials. People are always asking, how do I do this? So first question is, how do I type math up into discussions and then type it up into Word? So there's a YouTube video on how to do that I have made. There's a tutorial on how to submit your work. There's a tutorial on how to view feedback, because you're going to get feedback from your work, and that's how you learn, and so you see what your mistakes were. So you need to know how to view that. So there's a tutorial on how to do that. There's a tutorial on how to view the feedback from the quiz, and that actually shows you the questions as well. So if you want to review the quiz afterwards, you can watch that tutorial and it will show you how to do that. And then there's also a tutorial on how to see new content notifications when you're on the web. So I have several tutorials here. These are also in the classroom. And then additional resources are, of course, your instructor. That's one of the most important people to go to. Tutor.com, that's a live tutoring. You get 4 free hours, and you can request more. They're available 24/7, which is really nice. So if you're working when I'm not, or your instructor is not, Tutor.com is where to go. The tutorials already mentioned, and supplemental material is really important if your instructor has some of that. So I'm going to just go back to the classroom and show you around so that I'm in student view. And so your instructor page, there are 3 different instructors. So I just chose one of the classes. So Janet Wyatt is one of them if you're in this section. We also have Philip Rappel and Linda Kane. So you'll need to know who your instructor is and how to email them and contact them and all that. We've got the tutor link right here. And what is something that a lot of people don't know is that there are practice quizzes here, and those are free. Those don't use up any time. You can take practice quizzes. on various subjects. So you just pick your topic. Usually this loads. Don't know why it's not loading, but it should load. I've done this before it loads, but there are practice quizzes that you can take for extra practice. Everything you need to find is through the weekly content. So I recommend using that for everything. Then we've got supplemental materials. So there are tons of extra resources here, extra videos. So definitely if you find that you don't have enough understanding from the book, then try the supplemental materials. I have added this link to everyone's classroom. So it says additional resources and live sessions. So this is where I'm going to be putting everything. So here's the link to join these every Wednesday. This is the recording from August, so I'm going to be replacing this one with this recording once it processes, and then this is where you can download the PowerPoints. I'll have a link there. These are tutorials, so those tutorials I talked about, if you click here, you'll get to all those tutorials. I have a link for articles on time management and study skills. I have a suggested time management schedule, so you can plan out your whole course and when you're going to work on what. Additional videos, so these are videos that I've made for my classes in the August term, so I've been putting those, I will be adding them to here so that you have a collection. And then I have also added templates for each of the assignments so that you have somewhere to start. So I'm going to just click on the video so you can see that. So if you click here, so right now, because we are only up to week 5 just started in the August term, so I only have videos for weeks 1 through 4, but you can click on week 1. And then I have these extra videos: simplifying exponential expressions, simplifying radicals, factoring polynomials, simplifying rational expressions, multiplying, dividing. So there's extra videos here and then a PowerPoint with each one so you can download those. So these are all me from the August teaching them. So those are great resources if you find that you're not quite understanding the material, you need more, you need a different way to explain it. So all of that is available to you in the class. Tons of things. I will be updating those links as we go. So week 1, prerequisites and review. Let's talk about what you need to do this week. So we're going through chapter P, and like I said, we usually do about 5 sections. So we're going through the first 5 sections. Review of real numbers and their properties, exponents and radicals, polynomials and special products, factoring polynomials, and then rational expressions. So we have a class called Fundamentals of Algebra, which is MA104. It's the course before this. You usually have to request to take it because it isn't required for anybody. But that goes through most of this week's material, so that, you know, if you feel like, oh, I really shouldn't be in this class, you know, if you're like, oh man, I need a refresher, if you have room for an elective, you're welcome to. It's not too late because it's just day 1. You can switch into the other class if you need to. But it does cover most of this material that are considered review/prerequisites to go forward in the class. Now, if you don't have any extra electives and you're like, oh man, I don't have any room, I really have to stick here, I have linked to Khan Academy. Khan Academy is this amazing website with tons of extra videos. And so I've linked to all the different parts of Khan Academy that cover the prerequisites and review section. So that way, if you need extra help, you can go through those as well. So really, to get you started, I've got tons of resources for you for this week. Now, what you actually have to turn in this week, or actually do this week, is the week 1 discussion, the week 1 ungraded practice assignment. And this is practice, so you don't have to turn it in. It's just for your own benefit. So if you feel like you don't have a lot of time, I cannot talk and type at the same time, or write at the same time. But if you feel like if you don't have a lot of time, that's something that you could skip because it's not graded. You don't have to turn that in. And then the week 1 assignment. So the graded things are the discussion and then the assignment. So those are the things that you should focus on. for this week. And here is, so I showed you guys that there's a link to suggested schedule. This is the suggested schedule for week 1. Basically, if you do a section a day, take notes on that section, watch some videos, do some practice problems. The really important thing is at the bottom here, I have listed each section that each question on the assignment goes with. So if you're working a question on an assignment and you're not sure where to find some extra resources or where that comes from, you can check the schedule. So like 1A and 1B, that is from P.1. So that will help you figure out where you need to go to look for how to do that. I have heard some people find it easy, or they actually find it beneficial if they look at the assignment before they start taking notes and reading the book, because that way they know what to pay attention to. So sometimes some people will print it out, and then as they go through the book, they have it next to them, and they keep looking for things that are similar. So that is an option to make your study maybe a little bit more effective. The discussion is a 2-part discussion, so you do have to answer both parts. I see a lot of people only do the first part and they forget the second part, so you have to do both parts. So the first part is your introduction. That's standard, just so everybody gets to know you and we know where you're coming from and that sort of thing. Part 2 is study strategies, because in order to be successful in this course, it's best to have solid strategies going forward. And so if you come up with 5 things that you're going to do each week, and you do those every week to help you succeed, that is going to go a long way to keeping you on task. And so that second part of the discussion is for you to list what those 5 things you are going to do every single week in order to be successful. And if you need tips for that, the section that I showed that had tips and tricks with time management also has study strategies, so you can see some suggestions by reading through the articles there. Discussions have a 75-word minimum. All discussion posts are due by Sunday night, and then you have to do 2 reply posts to classmates by Tuesday. So this is important because it says to peers, which are your classmates, because the whole point of the discussion is to work with your classmates and help each other learn. So if you only reply to your instructor, you're not helping your classmates out, and you're not making a community with your classmates. So the goal is to talk to each other and get to know each other and help each other learn. So you need to have a minimum of 2 reply posts to your classmates in addition to the main post. And these replies should be more than good job or I like how you organize this. They need to actually mean something. So they're usually several sentences long. You could be asking questions about what they did. You could be answering questions other people have asked, perhaps, but they need to be more than just good job, I like your post, this looks good. Because it doesn't really add anything. You could ignore that and still be fine. So you want the discussion, the replies to actually be useful and helpful. Now, as the assignments go, you've got your ungraded assignment, which is the practice problems, and then the graded assignment. So the graded assignment, the thing that you're actually turning in, this is 10 problems a week. So every week there will be 10 problems. And you need to show all of your work so that you can actually get feedback and your instructor can tell you where you went wrong. If you don't show your work and you make a mistake, how can we tell you what that mistake is? Because we don't see what you're doing. So you want to show your work. And the way it's graded is right or wrong. So there's no partial credit, but most instructors allow you to resubmit. So there's no partial credit on these. So if you're not sure if you have something right or you want it to be looked over, you are welcome to email me your assignments and I can look it over before it's due and give you some direction to say, okay, you need to look at this example for this problem or you had this error. So I'm happy to look over your assignments if you just need a little extra help or you just want to make sure you haven't missed anything before you turn it in. So because everybody has a different instructor, there are some things that you should find out from your instructor so that you know what the expectations are. So I would make sure you find out from your instructor whether late submissions are accepted. I would definitely ask if you could submit the assignments as photos or scanned instead of typing. So the classroom says to type up your work, but typing, a lot of people struggle typing math into Microsoft Word, and it takes time because you haven't done it before. It gets faster, but it does take a while. So I would recommend that you ask whether you're allowed to do it on paper and then submit a photo of it or scan it. I would also find out what the policy is on late discussions and discussion replies, whether you're allowed to get points for late discussions and replies. And I would ask about partial credit on quizzes. So your first quiz is going to be in week 2, and you're required to submit your work with each quiz. And so I would ask on whether or not you get partial credit for that, because that's important to know. So this has been, I know this is a lot of information. That's why this is recorded. You're going to have a copy of the PowerPoint with all of this stuff. But now it's open for you guys. Do you have any questions that you have thought of as I've been going through all the stuff available to you? You can type it however you want to ask. I don't see anybody typing anything. I should have shown you guys. I just thought of this. So all those videos that I linked in the classroom, I have these all up on YouTube. So I actually have a YouTube channel. It's just my Grantham email address to find me. I don't know if you just search for my email or how you find people's channels, but I have a channel. And actually, let me just share that with you guys. I don't know how do I view it. I'm so bad at YouTube. I've been like watching all these tutorials to teach me how to use YouTube because I'm like, I don't know how to use any of this stuff. I don't know how to view my channel as somebody who's not me. Like, how do I view it as somebody else? I don't know how to do that. I really am so bad at this. Well, I'll just share my screen and show it to you as it looks like when I log in. But I do have a YouTube channel. So I've got tons of videos that I've uploaded, and these are all the ones with the light green. Those are the College Algebra ones. Blue is the MA104, so those are a little more basic. So if you need something a little more basic explanation, you can watch the ones in blue. Let's see. I've got some introductions, some random stuff here. Tons of extra videos here. So I would recommend going to playlists if you're on my channel. So I have a playlist for pre-calc, which is beyond you guys, so don't watch that one. A playlist for 104. Let's see, I don't want to actually view the whole thing. But this is the class before this, so if you need some basics, you can view the videos here on the MA104. Yeah, I don't know how to figure out my channel address, honestly. I really don't know. If you know how to figure that out, let me know. Then I will share that. I have no idea how to do this. Let's see, I'm creating a playlist on learning math. So these are kind of cool. How you can be good at math. Math is a sense you didn't know you had. Those are interesting. And then I have a playlist for MA105, so all the videos that I made so far for MA105. There's got to be some way. I don't know how to do any of this. Just type in, okay, yeah, see, I need to do it if I'm not logged in as me. So I know what I'll do. Let's see, if I switch to my other personal account, I wonder if I can find me. You found my name, type it in YouTube. Okay, good. I will type my name in the chat box. I know spelling my last name is tricky. But if you found that by typing into YouTube, good, because I'm still learning this whole YouTube thing. I mean, I learned how to do timestamps, and that blew my mind. I was like, wow. So, but if you subscribe to that and turn on notifications, and that way you'll know immediately when I upload a video, and that can be just like sent on your phone, or then you can even like have them. I have a Chromecast, so I love to stream them to your TV and things like that. So they're long. I will admit my videos tend to be an hour long, but because they're videos, you can pause them. You can jump to different parts that you need. You can skip ahead. So they're going to be very long, but tap on my picture on YouTube and find their channel name. Okay, that's probably good because I should do a, let's see. What did that do? I don't know if that, no, that just took me to the playlist. That picture on this picture? Top of my email. Yeah, it just says Stephanie Capus. So that might be just the name of my, I might be just literally my name is the name of my channel. Yeah, so they're long videos, but you don't have to watch the whole thing. You can see the factoring one is an hour and 10 minutes, but you can skip ahead to what you need. You can pause, you can repeat things. You can do the automatically closed caption if you need. You know, there's lots of stuff there. So. For all the classes, the extra link has been added. Yes, the extra link should be in all 3 classes. I added to it today, so if it's not there, then something accidentally got deleted because I did this morning. I added a whole bunch of stuff to it. So as of this morning, it was in all 3 classes. Other questions?
Yes, can you hear me, Stephanie?
Yes, I can.
This is Romeo. It's up like last year, or you just like 2-3 semesters ago?
Mm-hmm.
Your page?
Yeah,
because I didn't get it. And this is my second time taking this class. Yeah. I really need to pass this class.
Yeah, this is all new stuff that I started in June. So if you had me or took this class a while, yeah, we didn't have any of this. So this is new stuff that we did in June to help people be successful. So what we did in order to give me time to do this, because it's very time consuming making videos. Let me tell you, in editing those, I did not realize how much work that is. I have a new appreciation for people whose YouTube is their livelihood. I don't know how they do it. But what we've been doing is we actually gave me graders so that other people would grade so that I had time to make these videos, because we're like, this is worth it. People need these videos. So yeah, this is something that we just recently.
People like me who haven't taken math in like 12, 13, 14 years. Yeah. We need the refreshers and learn the steps all over. And it's been a big challenge. I mean,
It's difficult to learn math from a textbook, which is another reason why I've been making all of these videos. It's like trying to read math. If you don't know how to learn math by reading it, you can't really figure it out on your own. So you need someone to kind of help you how to read the textbook on all those kind of things, or watch lots of videos.
One of my problems I had was I would miss a step in the process. You know, and it ended up being like one of the crucial steps. I still have an issue with exponents, but I give it my best shot with the exponents. You know, it's just one of those things where I try to tell people, if you ain't did it in 15 years, it ain't like riding a bike with
your no, it is not like riding a bike. When I went back to school, I was only out of school for like 4 or 5 years when I went back for my master's degree. And I was amazed at how much I've forgotten just that time. And I had a math major, you'd think that I would remember it. I went back to school. I had to retake some of my classes from my undergrad because I could not remember things. So it really, if you are not using it, it just kind of disappears. So
goes away. And then it goes away. If you're not using in your life at work, really using, because my wife, she really uses her calculus and trig at work, and her mother, it's like, they remember things because they're doing it all the time. I say, well, I'm a rigger. You know, I don't really do all the math competitions. We got one formula. I already know what to look for and what to get, and that's it for me. As my math, that's all the math I got. You know.
Yeah. If you don't use it, you lose it.
After 2 years of doing rigging, that becomes repetitive, and it's in my mind of what I need to do.
Yeah. Travis just asked a question. Sessions will always be Wednesday, same time. That is correct. So every Wednesday, this time, I'll go through what you need to know for the week, basically. You know, what you're learning, why it's important, what it will connect to, what you need to know for the most important thing will be, I'm going to be telling you what the quiz will be on. So that's usually why most people want to join us, so they know what they have to study for the quiz. So I'll be going over all that kind of stuff every Wednesday, in addition to all these things on my YouTube videos. Let's see. Corey wants to know, is there a video particularly pertaining to the week 1 assignments? The week 1 assignment basically covers all 5 sections. So there's not one video that will talk about the week 1 assignment. So you'd really want to watch a wide variety of videos. So because the assignments are meant to cover everything in this, so there's not going to be just one video. So what I would recommend you do is maybe just print out the assignment or have it up while you're watching the YouTube videos, so that way you can see, oh, this is similar to this problem. Because I do, on the videos, I will do problems that are kind of similar to some of the things that are on the assignment. Or I'll say, okay, this is something that you need to know for this question on the assignment, that sort of thing.
I have no more questions.
You have no more questions? Night. All right. Let's see, Travis says,
have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Okay, Travis, are there PowerPoints for each section under? Yes. So every time I upload a video to the classroom, I will include the PowerPoint. I don't have the PowerPoints if you watch them from YouTube, because I don't know how to do that. I don't know if that's possible to have a file included when you're doing a YouTube description, but they are all in the classroom at least. So if you need the PowerPoint, you can go there. Other questions? Let's see, Corey, it says that you're typing something, but sometimes Blackboard lies to me when it tells me people are typing. So, Travis, I'm glad that this is that you're ready, that this is helpful already. I mean, I know usually this is all in the classroom, all this stuff for the most part, but it's like there's so much. It's like, how do I know what to do and what to focus on and everything like that? So, having a video to tell you, okay, this is what you should be doing and focusing on, I think that makes a big difference, because there is so much available. Okay, I'm going to assume that when it says Corey's typing, he's not really typing, because nothing's popping up. It does that sometimes. It thinks somebody's typing and they're not. So I actually, my August term, I do their sessions right after you guys. So I will be doing theirs for week 5 in 6 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop off, get ready for their session. They're actually going to be coming on the same link. So some of them may be popping on. Usually they don't pop on early. I'll be on the same link. But I'm going to at least stop this recording. I probably won't post it on YouTube till tomorrow, just because on the evening ones, it takes time for me to edit and all that stuff. And I'm like, I'll just do that in the morning. So it probably won't show up on YouTube till tomorrow, or maybe I'll upload it, but I won't have all the fancy stuff. But if you guys have questions in Gmail, as long as you type for my name, you should be able to find me. There are 2 Stephanie K's that work at Grantham, which is really confusing. So make sure you're picking the correct one, because I've had people email me when they meant to email her and vice versa. So, but you can at least type me and find me. And yeah, so I'm going to pop off. I'm going to just turn off my microphone and my camera until my next session starts at 7, where we're going to talk about week 5 stuff, which you guys don't need to know. I'll stop the recording, and hopefully I will see you guys all next Wednesday. And if you guys have any questions during the week, you can email me. Also, don't forget to email your instructor, because that's what they're there for. So, all right. I will see you guys next week.